What a day of football, divisional round in the books as we are now set up for the NFC and AFC Championship games. My name is Harrison Graham. Welcome into Four Verts. We're going to react to Bills, Ravens, Rams, Eagles, then look ahead to the two conference championship games. Let's go ahead and get started with the game that just ended. Bills 27, Ravens 25. Fascinating game because the Bills were in control. They were up 21-10 at halftime. But then you watch that second half and you're like, the Ravens kind of kicked their ass, but they just made too many mistakes. This game was defined by mistakes, and it's why Baltimore lost. Lamar Jackson had two awful turnovers. He threw a bad pick where I thought he predetermined a deep ball, and the safety just basically fair caught it. And trying to do too much when he was getting sacked, instead of just going down, he gets strip sacked, and Buffalo runs it back for like 50 yards. And then, reliable Mark Andrews has a horrible fumble in the fourth quarter. The Ravens defense holds Buffalo to 3 to get it back 27-19. Lamar drives him straight down the field, scores a touchdown, and what does Mark Andrews do on the two-point conversion? He drops the two-point conversion right in his hands. Bills get the onside kick, game over. I mean, you look at just raw numbers from this game, right? Lamar Jackson, 18 of 25, 254, 2 touchdowns and a pick, rush for 39 yards, also had the fumble. Josh Allen, 16 of 22, 127 yards, only rushed for 20 yards, did rush for 2 touchdowns. Bills rushing, $147, Ravens 176, total yardage. Baltimore outgains Buffalo 416 to 273. But at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, the Ravens have 3 turnovers, all of which were bad, and a drop 2-point conversion. This game came down to which team was going to avoid the big mistake. And the Ravens had about 4 of them. And the Bills, while they didn't have an awesome game, Josh Allen kind of just took care of the ball. To me, that's the evolution of Josh Allen this year. Josh Allen this year still was very explosive for most of the season, but he didn't chase the big play as often. It's honestly why Mahomes and how he's kind of evolved. You watch the Chiefs, a lot of these games, Mahomes, you look up at the end of the game, he's thrown for like 192 yards, but he doesn't make a ton of mistakes. Josh Allen this year has not made a ton of mistakes. Lamar Jackson, if this was a fantasy score, would have put up way bigger points than Josh today. But Josh took care of the ball, did what the game asked. They leaned on their defense and their run game, and they let Baltimore make mistakes. You know, if that game had another quarter in it, Baltimore probably would have won. They were getting stronger, better as the game was going on, but they just shot themselves in the foot too many times throughout the game. And it's another tough pill to swallow if you're this Ravens team, because by the end of the year, they were playing as good as anybody. Their defense was awesome. Lamar had his best year yet. And even as good as he was tonight, he still had 2 turnovers, and Josh had 0. That was the difference. I thought Lamar, for the majority of the game, was the better player. But these big games, when they're nip and tuck, when they're pretty even, it's going to come down to turnovers. And the Ravens had 3. Oh, and by the way, they went for 2 twice in the second half, didn't get either. Lost by 2. It's the little things in these games. It's the little things in these games. Give the Bills credit. I think the Ravens have a better team than Buffalo, and Buffalo beat them. They found a way. Now they'll take on the Chiefs. Feels like another coin flip game. I would give Kansas City the edge at Arrowhead. I think their defense is better. The Bills struggle to defend the middle of the field. You would think that's going to be a Travis Kelce field day. But it's not like the Chiefs played great yesterday either. So I would expect another game like this in the 20s. Which team avoids the big error? Typically, when the Chiefs and the Bills have played in the postseason, the Bills have made one key mistake. Last year, Tyler Bass missed the field goal. That was the difference in the game. It's these little details are what determine these games. And I thought the Bills, even though they didn't have a great day offensively, even though they weren't ripping big gains, less than 300 yards, they didn't make the critical error. And a lot of the time, that is what these games come down to. So congrats to Buffalo. Bummer for Baltimore. They're back to the drawing board. Bills back in the AFC Championship game for the first time in a while. They weren't there. They weren't there last year, right? It was Baltimore. Year before, the 2 years prior was Cincinnati. It's been since 2020, so it's been a while. So Buffalo gets another crack at making a Super Bowl for the first time in a while. Okay, game earlier today, Eagles 28, Rams 22. Saquon Barkley, just the best closer in the NFL this year. Derrick Henry's a close second. Saquon, though, 205 yards, had that 78-yard touchdown late, and they needed it because Stafford came back with the touchdown, got the ball back, got him down to about the 20 with the chance to win the game. They needed all 205 of Saquon's yards today. He just wore down their defense. And today is exactly how Philly plays. That game's close for a while, but just over the course of 4 quarters, that offensive line, Hurts using his legs to run a little bit, although he dinged up his knee. More on that in a second. Saquon's ability to just hit the home run at any point. And he kind of gave Hurts a little head nod before that 78-yard touchdown run, like, hey, watch this. One cut, boom, he was gone. He just gets stronger as the game goes on. I mean, one of the great acquisitions in recent memory in free agency, Saquon Barkley to the Eagles. I saw a stat today. He wouldn't even be one of the 30th highest paid receivers in the NFL. I kind of feel like we overcorrected in terms of like, oh, it's a passing league. You just got to pay all these receivers. Like I saw Gabe Davis makes more money than Saquon. There's just no world where Gabe Davis has more impact on winning and losing than Saquon Barkley. So what a player. So undervalued in terms of how much he makes. And, they got him for a reason because we saw last year Jalen Hurts cannot carry an offense. If you have a really good running back and an O-line and good receivers, he can be a good complementary quarterback. And if he's not making mistakes, which for the most part this year he hasn't, I think he had only thrown 5 picks in the regular season. But you look today, 15-20, $128. No touchdowns, no picks. If they're running the ball effectively, they'll take that. It's kind of like how Josh played today. Like, hey, I'm not going to light up the stat sheet, but you know what? I'm going to have a couple timely runs. He had that 44-yard touchdown run on the first drive of the game, 70 rushing yards total. I'll be efficient passing the ball, even if we're not going to hit any big plays. And we're just going to find a way. We're going to feed Saquon Barkley. And I'll tell you what, Matt Stafford can spin that rock, baby. Like, he's almost 37. They almost pulled this off. They got the ball back down 13 with like 3.5, 4 minutes left. Quick touchdown, 3 and out on defense, get the ball back. And he hits the deep ball to Nakua to about the 25. And you're going, are they going to do this? Is Stafford going to just steal this game from Philadelphia? But on a critical 3rd and 2, the center just decides to not block Jalen Carter, which I'm not saying that's an easy task, but he literally didn't touch him. I think he missed the assignment, and then it's 4th and 11, and it's, it's miracle time, and it didn't happen. But what a game. Eagles were the stronger team, no question about it. I'll say this, though. Jalen Hurts dinged up his knee, and they're limited passing the football right now, and if Hurts can't run super effectively after he dinged up his knee, they didn't really run him much. I think the Commanders can beat them. I really, really do. We're going to talk about the matchups next weekend here in just a second, but don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Full playoff reaction the rest of the way. We'll have AFC, NFC Championship coverage, getting you ready for that throughout the week, plus reaction to those games next Sunday. Coaching carousel news, that's going to ramp up this week with a lot of top candidates available. Todd Monken with the Ravens freeing up tonight. Obviously, the Lions boys of Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn, and so on and so forth. You got 6 open jobs right now. I would guess at least half of those fill this week, so we'll have that all covered as well. College Football National Championship reaction tomorrow night. I'll try to get out a little quick preview tomorrow morning. We'll see. It's a holiday. I'm off, so we'll see if I get to it. I'll for sure react to the game afterwards, but stay on top of that. We got you covered. Hit that subscribe button here on 4Verts. All right, just quick kind of mini previews. We'll take a deeper dive as we get closer and get more information. But my early thoughts on this game is this feels winnable for Washington. I think they're 4.5-point dogs, but they split with them, the Philadelphia Eagles in the regular season. I think Jaden Daniels, you would trust to make a big play and a big drive over Jalen Hurts right now. I'm not talking big picture, just QB rankings throughout the NFL. I'm talking about this moment right now. If I need a drive, I would probably take Jaden Daniels over Jalen Hurts because I think Daniels can make the big throw, whereas Hurts, he's predicated more on the run right now, whereas Daniels is not. And Jalen dinged up his knee today. I mean, that's going to be a story throughout the week. So, you would give Philly the slight edge. They're at home, they're experienced, but this Commanders team has like a feel of destiny to them. For you college football junkies out there, I kind of get a 2013 Auburn vibe to this team. Remember they had that crazy like tip drill 4th and 18 win over Georgia. They had the kick 6 to beat Alabama. They ended up losing in the national championship game to Jameis Winston in Florida State. But there's just something about this Commanders team where they win all the 50-50 games. The ball bounces their way, and if it's close, their quarterback's going to make a play. So I think if you're Philly, you need to jump on them early. But Washington has proven, if nothing else, that they will not be intimidated going into this matchup. So I think that one could go either way. And if Jalen's hurt and if they can force him to stay in the pocket and throw the ball, I think that gives Washington a shot. I will say this, the Commanders' rush defense is not great. So if I'm Dan Quinn, Joe Witt Jr., that Commanders defense, I am selling out to stop Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts as a runner. I am forcing him to throw the football on the outside, even if I have to play man coverage against A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. Okay, AFC Championship game, early thoughts on Bills-Chiefs. I would give the Chiefs the slight edge. They're a flawed team, no question. Most people are going to be rooting for Buffalo in this one. They want new blood. The officiating stuff that everyone keeps bringing up. And look, there were certainly some bad ones against Houston. I think the overall narrative that the Chiefs get every call is a bit blown out of proportion. I mean, I saw someone do a data compilation. There's actually not a ton of evidence data-wise, but I get it. They're in every primetime slot, the most watched team in the NFL. They're tired of them losing. Look, I did the same thing with the Warriors. I was tired of the Warriors winning, and I bitched about it. So I understand. I do think it's a little blown out. Like I think the Chiefs are also just a juggernaut that knows how to win. But listen, they've certainly benefited from a few calls this year. There's no question about it. Early on in that game, I'm like, man, if Buffalo plays like this, they can beat the Chiefs too. But as that game went on, you were like, Baltimore's getting stronger. You kind of feel like they would challenge the Chiefs more, but we'll have to wait and see. I think one clear advantage is I think the Chiefs' defense is stronger than the Bills. I really, really do. The Bills got the takeaways tonight, but they gave up well over 400 yards at home to Baltimore. Like, again, Baltimore, Henry, Lamar, those guys were getting stronger as the game went on. You figure if this game's close at halftime, Mahomes in the second half, Kelsey, they're going to find a way to make some big plays. Now, they're not going to be able to run the ball the way that Baltimore can, so you've got that. The Bills beat them earlier this year, so they know they can win, but they have yet to beat Mahomes in a playoff game, and they're going to have to go to Arrowhead and do it. I would give the Chiefs a slight advantage. I haven't seen the early point spread. Let me see if it's out yet. Looks like no spread as of yet. ESPN.com. Okay, here it is. Chiefs minus 1.5. That feels right. I'd give them the slight edge. Eagles minus 5 in the other game. Seems right. I think if Hurts injury is a big deal, I would drop that to like 3, 2.5. But I think these are going to be two great games. What a weekend we just had. I mean, the most boring game was Chiefs-Texans, and that was still a pretty good game as well. So should be a lot of fun. We're going to be here covering it all. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button on the way out. National Championship tomorrow night. Let me know who you got in that one. Notre Dame, Ohio State, who you're rolling with in that one. ND for Notre Dame, OSU for Ohio State. My name is Harrison Graham. We will see you guys tomorrow.